Welcome back for day 13. Today's intention is all about opening up, being open. So, in the physical practice, we'll work through some heart openers, some hip openers, some postures that really allow us to open up a little bit. And we'll target some of those areas where we hold on to tension. We tend to hold on to a lot of emotional tension in the hips, and everybody holds on to tension in the neck and shoulders. So, we're going to work on some of those areas. And as we work through this practice, think about what that intention means to you. Often in yoga, as we check out of the thinking mind and sort of allow ourselves to get into the practice, stuff can come up. And that's the stuff that you bring with you to the mat. That's the stuff that you're here to let go of because it no longer serves you. So be open to whatever comes up and be open to what the practice can do for you in helping you to let go of some of that. So with that, I will see you on the mat. Welcome back for day 13. Today we're focusing on being open, opening up. So in the physical practice, we'll do that through some heart openers, some hip openers, some postures that will get into some of those areas of tension. We'll start lying down today. So come all the way down onto your back. Stretch the legs out long. And hands can be down by your sides, or maybe you place them over your abdomen. But see if you can let everything get heavy. So shoulder blades are nice and flat on the mat. And do a little check-in. See if there's anywhere that you're holding on to tension right now. Is there anywhere you can let go of some of that? Maybe your shoulders are up by your ears. Can you bring them down? Are you gripping anywhere? Are you clenching your jaw? So just do a little check-in. See where you're needing to pay a little extra attention today, maybe. And try to focus in on the intention of opening up. So being open to whatever comes up. So we all show up here with stuff. We bring our stuff with us. And part of what's helpful through the yoga practice, beyond the physical aspect, is allowing the time to really give yourself a little self-care and let go of some of what isn't serving you. So be open to the stuff that comes up and let it go. And start to focus on the breath. So really start to deepen the inhale. And maybe if your hands are on your belly, you can feel everything expand as you breathe in. And maybe hold it at the top of the inhale and take in a little bit more, and then exhale really slowly. So really just slowing everything down, bringing down the heart rate, calming the mind, calming the body, setting ourselves up to really try to get the most out of our practice. And you can start to invite some movement in. Maybe start to rotate the ankles, wiggle the toes. And then we'll start with the right. You're going to bring that right knee up toward the shoulder and in. Give it a squeeze. We're going to start with some just nice circles in the hip here. So grab that knee with your hand and you can guide it around in circles, starting with small circles, and you can gradually make them bigger. So right foot is flexed, left leg is extended, left foot is flexed. So even though we're working on the right here and making circles on the right, don't forget about the left side. And then you can reverse your circles. And try to really keep it in sync with your inhales and your exhales. And then when you're ready, we'll take that right knee with the left hand and guide it all the way over to the left side. So taking a supine spinal twist here. Gaze can go to the right. And let yourself settle in here. Really use the breath as a tool. As you exhale, can you let that knee come down a little lower? One more big breath here. And then we'll come back to center. Extend that right leg out. Make any little adjustments you need to if you got a little crooked like I did. And then we're bringing that left knee up toward the shoulder and in. And you're just going to make some circles now there with the left knee. So you can use that left hand to just sort of guide the knee around, starting with small circles and then gradually make them bigger. Try to sync it up with your breath. Keeping that right leg extended, right foot is flexed. Everything's doing something. You can reverse your circles. And then when you're ready, we're going to take that left knee with the right hand this time and guide it all the way over to the right. And gaze goes to the left. And try not to hold this. The tendency when we get here is to just sort of hold everything. Try to let everything get heavy. Inhale, come back to center. And then we'll bring both knees in. Rock and roll a couple times. Come on up into your easy seat. And we're going to extend that right leg out to the side. Left foot is coming into the right inner thigh. So experiment with how it feels today. I usually offer the option to use the support and make this more of a restorative forward fold here. But try to give yourself the option to see how it feels, to let yourself come as far as you can over this right leg without it being uncomfortable or painful, but give yourself the opportunity to open that up and get a little bit more of a stretch there. So right leg is extended, right foot is flexed, and then you're gonna we'll reach the arms all the way up toward the ceiling and exhale, come down. You may not be anywhere near touching the floor. So you can come down onto the forearms here and then just bend, lean over that right leg as far as it feels comfortable for you. And maybe for you, you're right here, and that's totally fine. Or maybe you try to come down a little further. Play with it. See how you feel. See how much you can get for space without it being uncomfortable. Find your edge. And then really use the breath as a tool here. As you exhale, can you come down a little further? And then inhale, come all the way back up to center, switch sides. Bring that right foot into the left inner thigh. Set yourself up, so sort of shifting toward that left leg. Left leg is extended, left foot is flexed. And then again, play with how it feels here to just explore how much you can get, how much space you have. Can you open things up a little bit more? So reaching the arms all the way up. And then come down, so you can come down onto the forearms, framing the leg here, so that way you have a little support, and then just play with leaning forward a little further. Just see where you get. Use your breath as a tool. As you exhale, can you get a little bit lower? And then inhale, come all the way back up. Come back to your easy seat. And we're just going to try to open things up a little more in the lower back. So from your easy seat, I know more often than not I give you a restorative option for this. But really try tonight to just sort of play with how it feels to give yourself that openness, that flexibility, to just try to stretch and get into that posture a little more than you usually would. So keeping everything firmly planted on the yoga mat, you're going to reach the arms all the way up, and then we're coming down to a forward fold right in front, but you may not come all the way down to the floor, and that's totally fine. You can, again, use your forearms here to just support yourself and just allow yourself to come down. See how far you can get. And maybe you're here, and that's fine, but just see if you can breathe into that space, those areas that are tight in the lower back, and see if you can get just a little more space, just to open things up just a little bit more. And again, this is where you can use the breath as a tool to really try to get just a little more space. And try not to let the tailbone come up. It wants to kind of lift up from the yoga mat here. So keep that firmly planted. Keep everything down. And then we'll drag the fingertips, come all the way back up. We're going to come up onto the knees. We're going to explore a little more with that camel posture. So you're coming up onto the toes first, if that feels okay to you, and give your toes a little stretch. And maybe it feels better too to be down flat on your feet, which is fine. And try that if that feels better. I like to get a little bit of a stretch in my toes here. And check in with your alignment. So shoulders are down and back, neck is long, spine is straight. And we can start right here with interlacing the hands behind the back and taking a little bit of a forward fold here. I'm going to turn so you can see me. Tucking the chin into the chest, and you can bring the arms up over the shoulders if that feels okay. And then inhale, come all the way up, and then bring it the other way. So fingertips pointing down, and you're really opening the chest up toward the ceiling. And then you're going to come back to center. We'll come up onto the knees. So if you are on the toes here, then come back down onto the tops of the feet. And we're going to play here again with the camel posture. So starting with your hands right on the small of your back for support. So right where the tailbone is, sort of right here at the bottom of your back where your tailbone meets your spine. And then explore here how it feels to just start to lean back, roll the shoulders back. And if you feel okay here, you can play with dropping one arm. And maybe the other. And really breathe. This is a big heart opener here. So even if you're up here, even if you're, you stopped here, you're still getting this huge heart opener here. So breathe into that. And then inhale, we'll come all the way back up if we came down, using the hands to support you again on that lower spine. And then come all the way back down onto your feet. And then we're all going to take an extended child's pose. So bring the big toes together, knees as wide as the yoga mat, sink back, reach the arms forward. And breathe. And really reach the fingertips toward the front of the yoga mat here as you let that tailbone sink down. Try to get heavy. And again, come back to that intention. Whatever comes up, see if you can let it go. Whatever happened today, this week, try to start to let go of what isn't serving you. Be open to sitting with that feeling and then letting it go. So then come all the way forward. We're going to actually come all the way down onto the front this time. And you're going to come onto your forearms. Fingers reach toward the front of the yoga mat. Bring the shoulders down and back. Open up the chest here. Extending the legs. This is your Sphinx pose. Breathe here. Elbows are in line with the rib cage. You're also getting a little bit of a back bend here. 2 more big breaths. It doesn't look like much, but you're using so many different muscles here to hold this posture. And then exhale, come all the way down, and then bring the hands behind the back. Again, interlacing the hands, making that little pointer, that little index pointer. And then you're going to lift everything up. So it's really just your core on the floor. And breathe here. Locust pose. Exhale, let it go. And then we're going to push up. You can take a plank here, or you can push right into downward facing dog. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Pedal it out here. And we're coming into, you guessed it, pigeon. And again, I want to offer as an alternative to pigeon, taking either child's pose, or you can come into a figure 4 here. Pigeon is not for everyone. So if you're for figure 4, come all the way down onto your back, and you can cross one ankle over the opposite knee. Interlace the hands behind the thigh, and then pull the thigh in as you push the knee away. So you're getting a similar hip opener here. It's just a little bit less intense, and you can, I think, have a little bit more control over how much you're getting into that hip flexor. If you are taking it into pigeon with me, come all the way up into your down dog. And we'll start with the right. We're going to kick that right leg all the way up. Really reach it up, up, up toward the ceiling. Bring the knee in between the palms and come all the way down. Extending that left leg behind you as far as it will go. And we're not bringing it down here. So roll the shoulders down and back. Open up. Lift the chin. And maybe you play with, if it feels okay, and if not, you stay where you are. Maybe you play with kicking that left leg up, and you can reach that arm all the way behind. Again, take what you need. Maybe you take it one step further and reach that right arm out. And again, maybe you're here and this is enough for you and you're just working on stretching this area, and that's great too. So take what you need and breathe and be open to the sensation. Be open to what you're feeling. Be open to what comes up. One more big breath. And then we'll tuck the toes, push into the palms, kick that right leg all the way back up toward the ceiling. Bring it down. Switching sides. Left leg comes up now, all the way up toward the ceiling. Reach, reach, reach. And then bring that left knee in between the palms. And then reach that right leg back as far as it will go. If you're in figure 4, then switch sides. And then bring the shoulders down and back. Make all your little adjustments. Really see if you can settle in, and maybe you add on and you kick that right leg up, and maybe you reach around and see if you can grab it, and maybe you reach that left arm out. And maybe you don't do any of that and you stay where you are, and that's fine too. Listen to your body. Breathe wherever you are. One more breath. And then exhale, let that right leg come all the way back down if you picked it up. And to come out, push down into the palms, tuck the toes on the right side, kick that left leg all the way back up. Bring it down. We're going to come down onto the knees. We're going to come into puppy pose here. So come down onto the forearms, and you're letting the heart melt down. Keeping the tailbone lifted. And again, here, your head can be wherever it feels okay. Maybe you're on your temple, maybe you're on one side or the other. And if it feels okay, you can actually rest your chin right down onto the yoga mat and really open up that throat chakra. One more big breath here. And then we're going to come up and meet on our backs. So lying on your back with your feet flat on the floor, knees are pointed toward the ceiling. We're going to take a bridge pose here. So start with the arms down by your sides, and you're going to push down into the feet, lifting up with your core. So really using your core here, not pushing down on your arms. And you can interlace the hands underneath if that feels okay. Really use the core to lift, lift, lift here. And breathe. One more big breath. And then exhale, let everything come down. Bring the knees down toward your shoulders. We're going to end with a happy baby. So letting the knees come as far down to the shoulders as they can, and then grabbing either behind the shins, sides of the feet. Maybe you take your peace fingers and make a little yoga toe lock here with your big toes. Just find what feels good and works in your body. A place where you can settle in and use the breath. As you exhale, can you guide the knees down a little further toward the shoulders? Maybe give yourself a little foot massage here if you do have your feet. 2 more big breaths here. Make them count. And then bring the knees together. We'll roll a few times on the spine. And then come up into an easy seat. And we'll close out our practice for today. Bringing the thumbs to the heart center. Hopefully you're able to open things up and you're open to whatever comes up in your yoga practice. The light in me honors the light in all of you. Thank you for practicing with me. Namaste.